Well, good evening, everybody. Here it is Thursday night, 7:23, and we're back to episode number 4 of this year's Fatheads Eyewear Rumble Mumble, and leading up to Rumble 23.
Yeah, I think this episode was long anticipated. I was excited driving up here, and we're anxious to get back to the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum this December 17th and 18th, after we took last year off.
Yeah, it's going to be the same format this year. We're going to be running the midgets, 2 divisions of the 600cc midgets, winged and non-winged, multiple classes of go-karts, and, of course, all of the quarter midgets. So 2 full nights of racing.
Yeah, and speaking of the 600 midgets, I believe you have some updates?
Yes, it was just announced, or is actually being announced right now, that this year we do have sponsors for both of the 600 classes. North Baltimore Custom Cuts will be sponsoring the winged 600 midgets, while the Laborers International Union of North America will be sponsoring the non-winged 600s. We'll be having a lot of information coming out about that on our social media and our website, so we welcome both of them on board, and as always, more sponsors are always welcome.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks to those guys, and we'll be having more announcements, and just stay tuned to our social media. I'm pretty excited, and we'll put those up on the screen now. So follow us, like us, share us, and reach out if you or anyone you know might be interested in coming on board this year.
Absolutely. And just another quick reminder before we get into our guest sitting here between us. Just the hotel racer rates. I believe they'll be coming up on screen also. And it's the Holiday Inn directly across the street, or the Sonesta Select, which was the Hyatt place in the same facility. $75 at Sonesta and $95 at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah, so get your rooms booked. Those are filling up really quick. And also next week we have coming up the Racing to the Rumble series. It'll be next Tuesday. RJ, have you done any iRacing in your time?
No.
Well, it's definitely a thing to check out. But yeah, we'll be at Eldora Speedway, the virtual Eldora Speedway, and that will be, locking in another 4 drivers for the $1,000 to win championship this December.
That's next Tuesday, October 19th. We've been advertising 7:30, but actually that's when the iRacers are doing their practice and hot laps. So it'll be about 7:40, 7:45 we come on air, and you really want to get on air and check it out on our Facebook page.
Yeah, and it's not just for the iRacers and the drivers, it's for the fans like you. All you have to do, we have this really cool contest. All you have to do is tune in, like, share, and comment on the broadcast, and you're automatically entered in to win tickets to the Rumble this year, a 2-night stay at the Holiday Inn, breakfast, and some Fatheads Eyewear swag. So it's as simple as that. All you have to do is tune in, like, comment, and share on the broadcast, and you're entered.
And the neat thing is, no rainouts, no yellow flags in the heat races,
yeah.
And it's actually good racing. So check that out. Tickets, announcement coming out on that. They'll be going on sale November 8th. So that'll be very, very soon. And we want to give a big shout out to Jason Dietz Trailer Sales for returning as the presenting sponsor of the Rumble in Fort Wayne. Jason, an avid racer, and he just has been so great to us. We welcome him back on board. And speaking of welcoming, we'd like to right now go to our guest tonight. In the karting world, this man needs no introduction. I could do a biographical sketch on him, but it wouldn't be. Everybody in go-karting knows this man. We're in Churubusco, Indiana tonight with RJ Saylor. RJ, good to have you on our show.
Thank you.
And Kyle, you've worked with RJ through the years.
Yeah, this man built my engines for as long as I race go-karts, and honestly, we're here at a shop where he builds the engines, and the only thing that I notice that's different is right now there's no old western playing on the TV, and everything other than that, it's about the same.
RJ, how long have you been in the go-karting field here?
I started in the racing part in '85, but as far as the go-karts himself, 78. We played around here in the backyard and on tracks that we kind of handmade with little Sears tractors, you know. But as far as the racing, we started in '85 at Willardale, Ohio.
And you know so much about engines, and you've had so many people not only run your engines, but win on your engines. And the thing about RJ Saylor, and I don't think there's a single person out there watching this tonight, I've not heard you say a bad word about anybody. Your personality is just phenomenal.
Well, Larry, I go on the theory, if I'm pointing a finger, I've got 3 coming back. So if I'm going to say something about you, I probably got 3 times that much to say about myself. So it's best to
That's pretty good philosophy.
keep my windows. You know, you got a house, you got windows, and you don't want to start breaking somebody else.
Like they said, don't live in a glass house, right?
So,
And RJ, he's chock full of wisdom. And I remember, you know, those little sayings, little bits of wisdom, you know, every time we'd come up here to drop an engine off or pick one up. And, you know, you work with so many young racers, and I don't know, you might know, but just how much of an impact you have on the young racers. You know, what's it like working with all the young guns coming up?
well, Kyle, when I see a father and a son, or mother and daughters, you know, see them all coming in my shop, I'm thinking family. This sport is all about family. I understand it's a very competitive sport, but if I can help a young driver with what I have learned over the years, that I can sit and talk to them and tell them, you know, certain things are going to happen on the track, Larry. Mm-hmm. And it happened last week. It's going to happen next week. The only thing you can do as a driver is I tell them, make you a racetrack at home. And every time you in an accident, put an X there. Put the number of the cart was there. And Kyle, when you keep coming up with an X in that spot and the cart numbers keeps changing, now you got to say, what can I do to not be the X? And I love the sport. It's just...
Well, you know, I truly know the family aspect when it comes to RJ Saylor, because I've known RJ clear back to the days of the Marion Indoor Series, and brought his daughter Shannon along. Here's his father, and back then there weren't a whole lot of young ladies racing, and then Clara, the wife, the family would come in from Churubusco, Indiana, smiles, but when your daughter Shannon put her helmet on, she was a racer.
Yeah. Yeah, she was. She'd walk over and see what trophies you had, what color of trophies. And she'd come back to me in the pits, Kyle. She said, I'm going to win today. Yeah. And I like that trophy. Well, they're up there. So, and a lot of times she did. I mean, she needed that little drive. And, yeah, you talk about lady drivers. I'm going to tell you, when we was riding back here, when she would go out on the track, nobody else could go, because I made a difference between the boys and the girls. There's that male chauvinist thing. But I learned real quick that, like you said, once you put that helmet on, that go-kart don't know who's in there. It's somebody it's a driver, so...
And the respect that you have, Shannon has, your wife has for the fellow racers, it's tremendous. And it speaks volumes of why you have such a neat shop here and such a clean shop. And earlier you were taking us around showing us the equipment and everything. RJ, you've obviously been in it a long time. Yeah. So you've seen, as an engine builder, the evolution from... Well, everything was 2 cycles when go-karts started, but then when you came in, it was basically 4 cycles, yes. And we had the flathead. Well, since those days in Marion of the flatheads, we've gone into LO206, Predator, Animal, clones. How do you keep up with all of that?
Well, Larry, you get into a situation where you do the best job you can do on the engine that you're working on. But in today's world, there's so many people that puts emphasis on the engine. Now the engine is the third ingredient in this making a cake, you might say. Tires has become such a huge issue, and I just never got into that. I do tires, but I'm not a guy that likes to destroy tires. And a lot of times the chemicals they put in them, Kyle, the tires, you know, you run them at time and they're done. But as far as the engine part, you do the best you can do. I was talking with my nephew this morning about this very subject. You know, he's talking about engines. And I recall one time in Bell County, Kentucky, he brought in a 3-cylinder engine, diesel engine. Him and his brother come up, and his brother was over in the creek with a pressure washer, washing it down, and he had a table spread out, and he took all the bearing caps off the rods. And I said, do you know which one goes where? And it was sand everywhere. I said, you know, one speck of dirt, one speck, it cost you horsepower. Well, that didn't need it, but these engines, cleanness is where it's at. I try to put everything together, try to be as precise as I can. And, you know, I'm thankful for everyone that chooses me at my engines, Larry. I do. I think Kyle here, you know, all these kids that's around here, you know, I can't say enough about them. They're my family.
That's awesome.
They're my family.
Yeah, I think that speaks volumes, because I mean, you have, you know, through all those changes, through the different engines, you know, they're all still coming to you. You know, when you hear like this guy might be a little better on a clone, this guy might be a little better on an animal. I mean, I think you see a lot of the returning customers, a lot of the same people that stick by you, and like you said, I mean, it's a lot about family, and if you're not going to the track with family and having fun, there's not much point in it.
RJ, I have to ask you, are you self-taught? How did you acquire this knowledge?
Well, when we was back here riding.
Back here on your little homemade track?
Back here. You know, it was the way it was. You know, you learned. But in 1985, when we started to go racing, I bought 3 engines from a guy by the name of Wayne Kendall. And it come time for rebuild. And I was not happy with the rebuild that he did.
Okay.
I was just not happy. And I told the wife at that time, I said, look, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to do it myself, because I can't afford what they're, you know, I can't afford that. So I had a barn up here at that time, and I'd come in the evenings from work. I retired at Dana, Fort Wayne. I'd go up there and do engines, and my own engines. I didn't start building engines for other people till 95. And Clara was against it then. She said, you know, Shannon's going to have to race against them people. I said, well, Shannon's going to have to outdrive them, ain't she?
So what kind of changed? What made you want to start doing it for other people?
Well, Kyle, I had a 30 and out retirement program at Dana. And, you know, I know that I was going to be 50 years old, Larry. I had to have something to do. And if I'm going to work, I'll stay where I'm at. So we built this building that we're sitting in. Dana paid for all this stuff. The karting world, I do this as a job, quote, hobby. Mm-hmm. Now, at one time, when Akron was running, you know, getting 80 to 90 carts, State Line was running, getting 140 to 50 carts, Barrowfield was running, Cridersfield was running. I had a big market, but the track shut down. But I'm still going because my overhead is not there.
Right. Well, we're in Churubusco, Indiana today, and talking to RJ Saylor. Just want to quick remind everybody that the Rumble in Fort Wayne, presented by Jason Deach Trailer Sales, is coming up Friday and Saturday, December 17th and 18th. We put the go-kart entry blank out. It went out today. But there's still one question on there, and that is with our senior champ class, and that has to do with the evolution of the engines. And for the viewers, not everybody's aware of the different engine packages over the last couple of years, and a lot of it came from your advice. We have mixed the various engine packages to try to accommodate the people with the engines that they have. And now we've narrowed it down to the senior champ class, which Kyle has raced in. The animal class has been pretty much the predominant, and a lot of people had purchased the animal package, but now the hot deal is the clones. So talking to engine builders like RJ, Jerry Dover, and other engine builders, we're trying to come up with, is there an equalizer to allow a phase out of the animals? And I think RJ said it best. He says, you don't know until you experiment.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm afraid that's what we may have to do, but all the other classes, they're out. And so we're looking forward to that.
Yep, so get your entries in. We've already had a ton of entries in, so maybe here pretty soon we can put out some entry lists, and I'm excited for this year.
So RJ, tell us about the Rumble, the go-karts and the Rumbles. What advice can you give somebody that might be new coming into the Coliseum?
It's fast, but it's a whole lot of fun. Ask questions, talk to people that's been there before. I know I've never, and all the times that I've been racing, if anybody comes up and asks me what can I do or anything, I'll be more than glad to give anybody advice. That don't mean just because it worked for me that it's going to work for you, but at least you get on the right trail to start with.
We hear so many comments from the midget pit area, the winged and non-winged 600 pit areas about the go-karts. They said, man, those people steal the show. People love the go-karts at the Rumble.
Well, Larry, you take the competition that's there, the speed that's there. I don't know anybody that's faster than we are in the karts, listening maybe Tony Stewart or one of those guys. Maybe.
No, I think we out-qualify him as well in some of the.
Because they just sit flat and they go through the corner, and if you set up, we got some heavy hitters out there, some extremely good talent people.
Well, I remember you guys being there ever since I started running the Rumble in Fort Wayne. Just how long have you been racing indoors?
I probably started, Kyle, with Larry at Marion, Ohio back in the 80s, I think somewhere 87 or 88. And we've been part of the deal with the Coliseum even before the Rumble. We raced over there in the main Coliseum at the ice rink. We raced there. We pitted in the basement, had to ride the elevator up. The midgets did. Then we went to Columbus, Ohio. We raced in. It was a stadium, but Larry, we pitted in the hog pits or something. You remember that?
Oh, the Davy Beef Arena, and that racetrack. A lot of your viewers will remember that. That racetrack wasn't much bigger than this shop.
No, it wasn't.
And when it snowed outside, it would snow right through the walls of the pit area. It was amazing.
It was wild. That's
yeah,
right.
It was.
But
you know, RJ, earlier today, before we came out here to film this tonight, we were talking, and it's kind of a controversial subject in my eyes. Today's racers are not quite the same, and personally I have to put the blame on the bodies. It's taken away the respect of the racer for the other racer, because now it's become a shovel or a battering ram, and I would think you'd have to agree somewhat on that.
I agree 100%. I've talked that subject over with people. People say, well, let's take the bodies off of them. Well, you know, I raced at Willowdale, and full moon, the ambulances would pass each other.
I remember hearing that story.
And you know, I was there. I know. And anyway, the drivers today is learned to drive because of the parents has told them. They've watched whatever, Kyle, I don't know. You know, just go on in there and you know, you got to knock them out of the way. Well, if you read the WK Tech manual, it covers that. And you know, I've been in WK a long time, and it says no chopping, no blocking, no gouging. You know what I'm saying? Cutting over on. You got to give people racing room. That and it's a sportsmanship driving, they call it. And you know, if you come off the track and the people are yelling and screaming, what's that teaching our child? You know, that's the way I look at it, Larry. What is that teaching your child? Because is that the world you want him to live in? Or if that child didn't hit somebody and spin them out, you gonna yell at him because he didn't do it? Where's the sportsmanship? This is not NASCAR. We see it on NASCAR, you know, and I don't agree with it. And maybe it's my driver. Maybe it's somebody else's driver. It makes no difference. But, you know, if we get back to sportsmanship driver, and no, the flagman, he can control some of that. But yet, it's back in the hands of the guy that's got the steering wheel.
Well, Kyle, this opens the door to your weekly comment about the flagman.
And that was actually one of the first things RJ said when he got here is Larry's got a mean flag and he's not afraid to use it.
Well, yeah, it's a difficult situation, and it is sad when the parents are arguing like that, because you watch those parents bickering back and forth, and then you look over your other shoulder, there's the two kids that were just racing against each other, playing football, playing basketball, and they're having a good time. And so, yeah, it's all about the family. And I wish we could go. You can never turn the pages and go back, but you can learn. And if there's anything that we try to teach our younger racers is the sportsmanship, and we just want the parents to understand that too, because I think they just teach their kids go win, but they don't teach them the basics, and that's tough. It'd be nice if we had like a rookie orientation or something for the kids.
Well, you see a situation, Larry, where I saw a situation here 2 weeks ago. A kid spun. Well, I didn't see it happen, but the kid that spun was already loose, and the kid that was running second, if he touched him, it was very minute. But you know what I saw? That kid come up to that driver that spun and apologized. Well, you know, if it was my fault, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it's at now. We need to, instead of making an enemy, you know, Wayne Kendall told me this. Now, we're going back 35 years. He said, your friend won't take you out. And I think I've always run on that concept.
So we just need to create friends.
Yeah, more friends you got, the better off you are. Now, you still got to be a competitive.
Right.
I've seen my daughter, and I've got aggravated at her because she won't go up and fight for her position. I know she got took out. Or she'll go over and apologize to somebody, and it wasn't her fault. But that was the way she wanted to do it. And
great.
I've got to admire her for what her beliefs were.
Yeah, there's got to be a good balance of, you know, battling hard but respect. And I think that's perfectly showcased at the Rumble because the speeds are so high and you're racing that close. So,
well, I think we could go on for hours talking to this gentleman, the stories, the knowledge that he's acquired through the years. However, 23 minutes usually doesn't allow us to do that. So we're going to have to wrap this up with a big thank you, RJ, for everything that you have done for go-kart racing.
Where we do. I want people to understand, we've been talking a little negative, but let me tell you, we've got the greatest racers they are. All of you guys out there watch this, you're the greatest. Without you, we're nuts in. And yes, we have some negative, but I tell you, that negative may be only 1% of the conversation, but 99% of it's positive.
And I've been in it now almost 50 years promoting go-karts, and I believe in that. And like you, I'm so proud to see the big-time racers that have come from the go-kart racing. So Kyle, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in for another Rumble Mumble. We're 1 week closer. Thank you, RJ, for letting us crash in your shop here for a little bit, and we're looking forward to seeing you this December 17th and 18th.
Well, it was a great honor, guys, and I thank you.
All right, thank you.